And the game continues. 2-1 Toronto. Tony Batista.
High and deep into left field.
Fifth is a Blue Jay. 3-1.
Extra innings tied at 7. Bottom of the 10th. John Hudek now in there. Tony Batista leading off. And with that, the Braves will be wiped to full screen. His 11th of the season. Jay's 4th home run of the game.
Up 1 zip after 1.
From Batista since the
Look at Tony Batista. Bobby Howry. Fastball jumped. Simmons couldn't get that one. Jays win 4-3 in 11. Simmons led.
Made it to the World
Top 4, 2-1 Blue Jays. Tony Batista off Kevin Apier. 3-1 Jays. 20th on the year for Batista. Later in the 4th, 2 out, 1 on, and it's
hitting streak over at 26 games. Bottom of the 2nd, Tony Batista at the plate, who just had a 1-0 lead. Now it's 2-0 off the foul pole. Of course, it's a fair ball.
And he crushes it. Second deck home run.
1 ball, 1 strike. There's a drive, and this game is over. Up into the second deck in left field, Tony Batista's 2nd home run of the day. And the Blue Jays ride it to a 5-4 win.
He hit 5 in 13 games in the spring for the Blue Jays. As Batista crushes one to left field, home run.
Number 7 on the season, and Batista gets into that hitting stance. It stays on the inside part of the plate, and he keeps it fair.
11 straight times at Sky Dome. Do I hear 12? Tony Batista facing Jason Johnson. No question. Batista's 9th. It's 2-0 Toronto. Bottom of the 4th, same score, 2 outs, 2 men on.
Here we go. Bottom of 2, Tony Batista leading off, and pauses that out there for his 10th. Game's tied at 1. Still 1-1 in the 3rd. Blue Jays get going. Pedro since last August. Tony Batista up 2-1. Home run over the large green wall. His 12th. Blue
Jays, Tony Batista busts out the whooping stick. Cold cuts for everybody. Grand salami time, his 14th home run of the year.
Sox have been the beneficiaries of that. Moved back into first place with a win over Toronto last night. At Fenway today, top of the 1st, Tony Batista.
Bottom 4th, Hideo Nomo. Tony Batista, that's a strange looking stance, but it produces long fly balls. This one is 17th homer of the year, 4-2. He had 2 on the night.
But then 2 out, loaded up for Tony Batista. El Asun Grande Hombre. 23rd homer for him. Blue Jays out front, 5-1. Now bottom of 3, Orioles down 5-1, runner at 3rd, 2 out.
Goose eggs through 5. Tony Batista. Why in the name of William Nathaniel Showalter III would you trade that guy? His 27th of the year.
Let's take a 5-3 lead. Bottom of the 8th, tied at 5. Tony Batista. Home run. 28th for him. Blue Jays go up 6-5.
Top of the 8th, and Batista has someplace else to go. Crushing Jim Nasir's pitch. A 2-run homer, Batista's 32nd, tying his teammate Carlos O'Donnell for the AL lead. We're tied.
Still bottom 5th, Tony Batista. You love that batting stance. It's effective. And that ball is his 33rd of the year, leads the AL 6-1 Blue Jays. Batista 2-for-4.
Mike Sweeney rumbling home. Here is Tony Batista.
On the left side of second base.
He votes that one off the island. His 34th dinger. The Royals lead is cut to 6-4. Same inning, Shannon.
Down 5-4 in the 7th, Tony Batista has someplace else to go. You know, 17 of Batista's 35 homers this year have come in the 7th inning or later. The Blue Jays are up 6-5.
The year performer. Next guy, Tony Batista. I am the king, and you are a nobody. Back-to-back, Batista's 36, and the Blue Jays win it by a count of 7-5.
Very next batter, lather, rinse, repeat. Tony Batista. The guy weighs 185 pounds, soaking wet, and that's his 37th of the season. 100 RBIs for Batista.
During the streak. Tony Batista looking to break the shutout. And this one is gone with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th. Batista ruins the shutout.
7 man on second. Tony Batista, not scared of heights. His 39th home run of the year, his only hit of the game. He had 2 runs scored, 2 RBIs. Jays were up 9-2. Bottom 8 now.
They're playing the O's anyway. Tony Batista off Sidney Ponson. He stings that one. Number 40 for Batista, 112 ribs.
Hits it well to left. Cabrera looks up, watches this one sail out. Home run number 41 for Tony Batista. Postpones the celebration momentarily.
4 tied at 1. 1 man aboard, 2 outs. Tony Batista has just left the building. 2-run homer, and the Jays stake to a 3-1 lead. Bottom 7, it's 4-1 Blue Jays.
The lead and go to the 8th. Down 8-7. Tony Batista. The man just broke his bat, and he's still at a home run. That is ludicrous. Game's tied at 8. Batista's second homer of the year. On first. Tony Batista has a funky-looking stance, but he hits balls really far. That was the 12th pitch of an at-bat. Batista wins his 4th homer. 3-0 Blue Jays. Zim can't stand to watch.
Top to 19 games. 2 batters later, Tony Batista. A lot of baseballs in the upper deck at Skydome. Batista's 6th of the year. The Jays go on to win this one.
Top of the 4th, Tony Batista facing Jeff Supan. Runner on second. Toronto down 2-zip. Batista changes all that with 1 swing of the bat. 7th homer of the season. We are all even at 2. Top of the 5th now, 3-2 Royals.
5-4. Adding to it now, we're tied at 5. Tony Batista. That is a goofy stance, but it seems to work often. His 10th of the year.
Batista facing Biddle with 2 on. Batista says, happy birthday, Rocky. A 3-run home run, his 12th of the year. 7-2 Toronto. To only the 4.